Welcome to this season of Green Pillars. This is our how-to edition, and basically this season we're going to teach you detailed information on how to do certain things. For example, how to use pesticides, weedicides and insecticides, how to adapt to climate change, and how to avoid your hat flying off when it's windy. But most importantly, what are some of our climate resilient crops that we as a nation now need to start looking at for us to have a better economy in the future? But also things like how to take care of your soil and your soil health. I have with me this little container of soil, and I'm here at my favorite place, Agchem, and I'm gonna see my friends Sayed and Manda, who's gonna help me and tell me more about how I can read my pH levels and how I can better take care of my soil and keep my hat on. All right, let's go. It's so good to see you again.
Hi Shania, how are you?
Good, I've been good, and I hope you've been good too.
I'm good.
Well, I came to you again today for some help, and it's exciting that you're back with us on this season of Green Pillars. It's our how-to edition, and I know you're going to be going with me through a lot of trips and a lot of different things that we're going to be doing in this season, you and Manda. But I know that you specifically are very good at doing soil pH stuff. So what I did was in my backyard, in my house, we have different areas and they all have different types of soil. And we've been planting for a long time, right? But lately it just seems like the crops are not growing as well. So I decided to come to you guys for some help because I don't have a pH reader. I know you do. So maybe you can help me out. So I got you 3 samples.
Soil pH is a measure of soil acidity and alkalinity.
Yeah.
Different crop requires different pH reading.
Yeah.
So it's always good to do a soil test before you plant a crop. So looking at the samples you brought in here,
Yeah.
you got sandy soil. These 2 are clay, but this is red soil, this is black soil.
Okay. But they're both clay.
Clay, yes. So just let me do a quick check.
Yeah, sure.
This is called the pH meter. This gives the soil pH and also the moisture reading. There's 2 types of soil sampling. It's either you get it done from the agriculture, they get it analyzed in the lab, but it takes a long time.
Yeah.
And this pH meter gives you the instant pH reading. So after the reading, you can always come to us. We can tailor make a program based on the crop and based on the pH reading. So
I think that's really cool, by the way. Like the fact that you don't have to wait a long time, and the soil structure changes over time.
Yeah, because nobody wants to wait for a long time, because farmers, their source of income is from farming.
Yeah.
So they don't want to wait for a long time. So they need the instant pH reading, so they can move ahead with the planting.
This thing is really handy. I mean, just seconds of putting it in the soil, you instantly know what the reading is.
Because soil is just the medium to hold the plant.
Yeah.
It's what you add to the soil that matters.
Right.
Yeah, and soil is just made up of air, water, and organic matter. So minerals like sand, silt, and clay.
Yeah.
So a healthy soils are always porous.
Yeah.
That allows water and air to move freely, and it also creates habitat for microorganisms.
Okay.
Yeah.
By that you mean like it's got holes, it's got gaps.
Yes. And when you use excess of chemical fertilizers,
Yeah.
you kill the microorganisms.
Right.
So that's where our Activate comes into play.
Yeah.
You apply and they increase in numbers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a plant to function properly, the soil needs the microorganism.
Right.
Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll just take a quick check on these samples.
Okay, cool.
Since it's they are packed in the small container, I'll just take 1 test each. But if it was a big field, I would have taken a random check.
Yeah.
Then take the readings and then make a program based on the reading. And depends what you want to plant.
Okay. Yeah.
So first of all, you need to wipe it properly.
Yeah.
And then you can poke the pH meter in and wait for the needle to stop so that you can take the reading. So it's 5.6. Once farmers they buy this, we can train them how to use it.
Yeah.
And if you buy this costs a farmer 155.
Yeah.
So what a farmer can do, he can buy and he can test about 15 to 20 farms and charge a farmer maybe $10 or $15. So it will pay him off. So it's like hitting two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
A farmer will get his money back,
Yeah.
and the other farmers, they can get the right accurate pH reading, and based on the pH reading, they can buy the agro inputs for their crops. So for the second test, you need to wipe it again before you poke it to the second spot. There you go.
Wow, that's so cool.
It's 5.4.
Okay, and now third one.
Wow, it's below 5. It's 4.8.
Wow, interesting. These are all from the same area, and just look at the different, well, these two were slightly different, but this one was actually below 5. So in a case like this, how do I have to apply one type of product to the whole area to get the balance up right for all of them, like get them to the same level? Or will they never really be at the same level? They'll just be slightly different, even after I apply the products?
It's going to be slightly up and down, but taking the reading, it's acidic. So what you can do, after the land is prepared well,
Yeah.
when you're ready to plant, what you can do, you can spray or you can apply because we have two types of lime, it's powder and liquid.
Yeah.
So what we do, we normally recommend the powder one for high rainfall area, and the liquid one we recommend farmers to use it in dry land. So what you can do, you can just apply where you planting,
Yeah.
because the lime takes years to get it into the soil, but you'll see the benefits within a month.
Right.
Yeah, so it's always good to apply the lime before you plant, and then comes in with our mineral fertilizer and our soil activator.
Yeah. I mean, we did do that in season 1. We had my backyard garden,
Oh,
the
yes,
little
I still
veggie garden, remember that?
yeah.
I tell you what, those French beans were the yummiest I've had. There was a clear difference between the ones we planted without the products and the ones with the products. And I know over time, you actually came by and you added some more products every few weeks, right? You came by and did some, I mean, he followed the whole plan, the program that you gave for me.
Because vegetables are very susceptible to disease. You need to take care like a baby.
Yeah.
You need to feed them with the fungicide so they don't get disease and fungus, and apply the soil activator.
Let's rewind to September last year when we finally harvested the French beans from my backyard garden. The difference was clear between the side that we used agricultural inputs on and the side that we hadn't. Manda explains why.
It's after 7 weeks of since we started with this vegetable garden. As you can see, I've got some French beans fresh one in my hands at the moment. But recapping what we have done from the beginning, we have what we have done with the soil conditioners and the application of the fertilizers, the sustainable fertilizers when we planted the crops. But we must take into account the adverse weather effects that we have gone through, different heavy rainfall, and plus on top of that the rock compost, what have happened, because they've added a few of the rock compost into the garden while the crop is growing. Now, you see that's a contributing effect to that. Rock compost is better done separately than the garden, because it does contribute to such things that also affects the growth of the crop in terms of disease infestation. As the compost, as the raw manure decays, like for this example, you see molds, fungi, all that contributes to the decaying vegetable peels and all that. When the converting process, there's also effects of fungus on the crops. If you can see, there's a few deformities in the leaves formation, and just a few discoloration. But luckily for this, we have applied fungicides for the disease prevention, and we've applied the foliar as the foliar application to sort of pick up the plants, boost the plants' growth after the application of fungicide. And we have followed up with the application of the soil activities. Looking at it now, compared to the growth of this control, which is just planted without the application of the fertilizer. Just look at the growth. It's sort of it's growing, but it's not fully developed in terms of foliar and the fruitness. As you can see, they're both fruiting, but there's not much fruit on the plants.
Oh, you can tell the difference.
Yes, when you compare it to the other ones that we started with, even after picking this, if you really look at underneath the plant, just look at the number of fruits that are still
Wow.
there. And there's still some with a good sized fruit that still needs to be picked from the plant. Okay? So the foliar growth is good, and the number of fruits on each plants are much better compared to that one. And again, this is compared to that, this is healthier and tastes good.
Coming up after the break, we're going to meet up with Manda, who's now going to give me some products that we can use to help my 3 different types of soil come up to the right pH so I can start planting some incredible vegetables. My mom will be very happy because she always wanted me to eat more vegetables. So we'll see you after the break. Bula Manda,
Bula Vinaka.
how are you?
Good.
It is so good to see you. I know we did some work with you guys in season 1. Welcome back to our season 2, which is the how-to edition. And in this season, we're getting right in there. We're getting into the detail of how to do things properly. And I know you're very good at explaining those things to us. So today, I brought some soil samples from my house.
Okay.
And he just did a pH reading for me, and I think a lot of them for what I want to plant, which is vegetables, and I even want to do root crops like ndalo and cassava.
Okay.
I think I'm going to need some help. What do you recommend?
Okay.
It's a lot to take in.
Basically, there's 3 different soil types. Right?
Yeah,
So this is sandy soil.
yeah.
Sandy soil, basically, it's not good for agriculture. Why? It's very light, doesn't retain water very good, and it doesn't have a lot of minerals. So in agriculture, it won't do well. You have to do a lot in order to get your crops going. One thing with sandy soil, water runs off very quickly. So if your soil is sandy,
Yeah.
it's more sandy than clay, then first thing you'll need is a lot of compost.
Right.
Compost, it has the microbes in it, and only then with the compost, when you use the right fertilizer, then your crop will grow. But otherwise, most of the nutrients will wash out.
Yeah.
Most of the water, it's very poor in water retention. So it's always dry, and when the dry season, it gets hotter, and it's sand.
Oh.
If anything is growing in there, it dies. So, because the root system will get burned off. With clay soil, if it's heavy clay soil, it's very heavy, it has a lot of nutrients, but the only problem with clay soil, when it's rainy season, it gets clogged up.
Yeah.
So air
Right.
penetration is very low, and most of the plant root system get drowned and they rot.
Right.
So a bit of sandy, the best, that's why loam soil, sandy loam soil is the best. It's more in between clay and sandy loam. So it's not as heavy as clay soil,
Yeah.
it's not as light. So water drainage, when there's heavy rain season, it drains off excess water. Water retention when it's dry season is good because it has mulch.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with soils like this, you need to know your soil type, and then you've already done the pH testing with Shania. See, pH is very important when doing soil testing. You can do soil mineral analysis in the lab.
Yeah.
Either you can take it USP or get it done in Cornivia, where they can do the pH plus the mineral analysis of the plant available nutrients that is in the soil.
Yeah.
So based on that, then you can, but that takes time. But the main thing is you've done pH. If you know what pH gives you. The pH is just an indicator of the soil condition. I
Yeah.
mean, if it's below, it's very acidic, then what it means that most of the mineral available to the plant will be very less. Mineral available will be less. So whatever minerals that the plant needs, most of that will be locked up. It will be in the soil, but it's locked up.
Oh.
So availability of that minerals to the plant depends on the microbe. That's why soil health is very important.
Yeah.
See, most people, we can talk about soil, physical state of soil, the types of soil, the chemistry of soil, the mineral content and all that. But the biology side of the soil is most people tend to neglect. That's very important. Because depending on that, mineral availability to the crop depends on those microbes and the small microbes. So if you come to think of it, those small microbes plays a very important role in our very own survival.
Yeah.
Because they determine what the crop gets, what the plant gets from the soil. So based on that, we have these products that are more environmentally friendly. We also have chemical and conventional fertilizer, but we are going into this path because this is the way the world is going. For example, this is black urea.
Right.
Black urea is good for vegetable farms if you are doing leafy vegetables.
Yeah.
See, this is the normal urea, but it's coated with organic carbon. The carbon coating technology means that when you apply this into the soil, they are heterotrophs, the carbon feeders in the soil. When they feed on this carbon coating, they're actually feeding on the urea. So by doing that, they're converting the nitrate in the urea into a protein form, which is more stable in the soil, and it doesn't leach out quickly. See, the chemical or conventional urea, the normal white urea as we say,
Yeah.
you lose it in two ways. If it's exposed on top of the surface by the sun, it volatilizes, so it evaporates like the fumes.
Wow.
Once it goes into the soil, it dissolves in the soil. In one heavy rain, it gets washed off. It can't leach out. So with this, it guarantees that the nitrates becomes converted in the protein form, so it's more plant available. So the plant can benefit from it for a long period of time. And the application is very less. If you're using a white urea, say for example 1 gram per plant, you can use this quarter gram, half that rate or less.
Wow.
And because it lasts longer. That's the benefit of this carbon coating technology.
Wow,
And
that's cool.
we have the TT blend, which has
My favorite.
which has the NPK plus 13 trace elements. It's mineral based. The NPK in the TT blend is also conventional, but it's also coated with organic carbon. So these two are sustainable fertilizers, which has the carbon coating technology, which was introduced by FertPro. Soil, which has healthy living system like a root system.
Yeah.
They have microbes and fungi and nematodes and all that are part of the soil ecology system. Those are the ones that create living, that makes everything available. That's the beauty about these certified organic fertilizers. It has the minerals that the plant feeds, but it also has, see, all these have the carbon coating technology. It also feeds the microbes.
Yeah.
So in a way, it benefits both. It benefits the crop, it benefits the microbes in the crop. Whereas by using the conventional fertilizers, even though it dissolves very quickly, you can see the result on the crop very quickly, but what it does, it also kills the microbes. So dealing with the soil pH when you have your soil, first thing comes in is the lime. Lime neutralizes soil pH. It's sort of a soil conditioner. We have the dry lime here that comes from Gremon. Used to be McDonald's lime. It's taken over by Gremon. And if you've seen the logo down here, it's also certified by BioGrow New Zealand. So now both our limes are certified organic. Our Gremon, our dry lime comes from New Zealand, from Gremon, which is certified by BioGrow New Zealand as organic. And our liquid limes come from Australia. It's certified by ACO, accredited as organic agro inputs from Australia. So we have both liquid and dry lime. The beauty about liquid lime, the calcium content in liquid lime for 120 liter is equivalent to the calcium content of 4 tons of dry lime.
Wow.
It's concentrated in liquid lime.
Wow.
So that's why you've seen in season 1 when we sprayed the lime on your garden.
Yeah.
Remember that pawpaw plant that was
and it heals.
how it heals and
yes.
goes up? That's the beauty of liquid lime. It gets directly absorbed by the plant
Yeah.
and it becomes a direct source of calcium for the crop as well.
Yeah.
Whereas depending on your situation, if it's in a rainy area,
Yeah.
then we advise farmers to take dry lime and apply to plant because
Oh,
rains
okay.
will take it down.
Yeah.
Up in the dry season, then you can use liquid lime as a seed crayon.
Oh, cool.
And you can even use this as a solution for blossom and rot. See, blossom and rot happens in
Tomatoes? Yes.
and also in some other vegetables. The rotting on capsicum. That is because of lack of calcium. And you can solve that by applying liquid lime spray as a foliar application on tomatoes when it's during fruit development.
Right.
So the plant will absorb that calcium in, takes it in, then will help avoid blossom and rot. And you'll have good shiny tomatoes
Yeah.
to harvest.
Coming up next, Manda has more to share.
It's trying to communicate
It's
with us.
crying
trying to
out
say,
for help.
I need help.
Yeah.
Gypsum is another form of lime.
Yeah.
See, egg lime is calcium carbonate. Gypsum is calcium sulfate. We use it mostly in areas near to the water, salt land, marshland, because you have this salinity coming into the soil.
Yeah.
So gypsum with egg lime, it helps neutralize that salinity
Yeah.
and gives the benefit for the crop when you plant it. So it's just another form of lime. We have a few limes. We used to have dolomite lime,
Yeah.
and we have this egg lime, which is calcium carbonate. Gypsum is just another form of lime, which is calcium sulfate.
Wow, awesome.
And we have this equipment here. As we know, we've seen in season 1, we have the 16 and 20 liters. We have the engine mist blows, but we have this 5 liter sprayer. You have a small, if you have a small backyard garden, you don't need to mix, whether you use lime as a sprayer, then you can just use this 5 liter sprayer just to
True.
mix enough so that you can cover your vegetable garden
Yeah.
instead of doing. There's a beauty about this this product, this Protect Seed Trace. It's an organic liquid soil activator. It does have the combination of kelp, molasses, and those ingredients, and there's some bacteria in there, some soil bacteria that helps revive the soil microbial activity in the ground. It also boosts the activity of the microbes in the ground by replicating and multiplying so that there'll be more of them and they'll do their job properly. See, in the ground there's phosphate fixing bacteria, there's
Yeah.
calcium fixing bacteria, there's magnesium fixing. What the plant does through the process of photosynthesis, they absorb the atmospheric carbon and put it back into the soil, fix it back into the soil. And through that process they also excrete carbohydrates through the root system. They feed the microbe.
Yeah.
And the microbes go in return and gets the available nutrients that the plant needs. So that's the way nature works when God created it.
Yeah.
We came in with our own invention, we clear everything, and we started plowing, planting single crops, using chemical fertilizers, using so much weedicides, insecticides. All these toxins start killing the microbes.
Yeah.
And we're creating an imbalance in the soil. And later on, we're finding difficult that the yield. Just for example, friend are saying the size of dal is not what it used to be big, now it's only small.
Yeah.
And they've been doing fertilizer and fertilizer. They've actually increased the amount of fertilizer, and the yield is not. It's not coming out. It's
yeah.
not what it used to be. So it's an indication that the soil is trying to communicate with us,
It's crying
trying to
out
say,
for help.
I need help.
Yeah.
You have to change what you do.
Yeah.
So the help is there. Then, that's where all these things comes in with the lime, the organic fertilizers,
Yeah.
and the soil activator, which helps revive that.
Yes.
And once you maintain that, you'll see the notice. You'll notice it. As you said in season 1 with your vegetable
Yeah,
garden.
I was just about to bring that up again because we used the liquid lime, we used the growth formula and the seed trace and the Tay blend, yes. And I was just telling Sayed, the French beans, boy, we just like picked it off and we ate it raw. And I remember I did it with you. We
Yes.
both ate it raw. It was just beautiful. Now you've given me some products to work with for the soil that I have. Do you have any solution for me for this wind and my hat flying off? Any products there that can help me with
Yes,
this?
for your vegetables, right now you can continue with your leafy vegetables. You can use the lime
Yeah.
with the black urea for leafy vegetables. For anything that's fruits like beans, tomatoes and all,
Yeah?
you continue with the Tete
Tete
blend.
blend?
And you can, in combination with that, you can use combined mineral as the base. Remember we did the base and
Right.
we put a few granules in
We
the ground
did,
where
yeah.
we're going to drop the seed as the base. We did the same thing with Andalo Farmer. We use the carbon mineral as the base,
Yeah.
tablespoon per plant in the hole with Andalo top. What happens? It doesn't burn the planting material.
Yeah.
It sits. So the planting material is sitting on top of the mineral fertilizer. When it germinates, the food is already there to start off.
And they just start
And
feeding.
it just blossom from
Yeah.
there. And then we do side dress with Tete blend and the activated application of Protect Seed Trace, which is the organic liquid soil activator, which boosts everything. I'm using carbon mineral as base, and I'm using prophosphate as a side dress.
Yeah.
Because during tuber development for root crops, they'll need a lot of phosphate.
Yeah.
That's why this is the organic form of phosphate. See, we have superphosphate, triple super, that's all chemical, but prophosphate is organic rock phosphate. So for me, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
And mandalos are coming up really well.
Oh, awesome. Coming up next week, thank you so much everyone for joining us for the first episode of our second season. Now coming up next week, we're actually going to visit a Ndalo farmer or a farmer in Nosori. And I know that you gave him a bit of a program to follow. So that's going to be on next week's episode. Let's go and see how he started off his farm. He had to wait a little while because it was very rainy, I remember. And then Agchem had given him a program to follow. So tune in next week to find out which products that he'll be using and how his farm is coming along up till now. We'll see you next week.
If you're interested in purchasing any of the mentioned products, you can visit the following Agchem distributors. Contact Agchem Limited on the following numbers. You could even visit in person. They're located on Wailanda Road in Lamy.